The Deathworld Council was older than most stars. Its walls were made of dark metal that never rusted. Strange symbols glowed faintly, carved by species long extinct. The room was so large that sound echoed even when no one spoke. Hundreds of alien delegates floated in their seats. Some had claws, some had scales, some had eyes that never blinked, others had no eyes at all. Each seat was shaped for its owner. Some were filled with mist, others were surrounded by energy fields. The air itself felt heavy, as if the chamber was pressing down on anyone who stood inside it. This was a place where worlds were judged. Humans were new to the galaxy, and they were already disliked. The Deathworld Council had gathered for one reason only: Earth. A massive hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a blue planet turning slowly in space. Green lands, blue oceans, white clouds. Beautiful and dangerous. The High Arbiter spoke, its voice deep and cold. Today we decide the fate of Earth. Control, isolation, or destruction. The chamber stirred. One by one, alien delegates began to speak. A tall insect-like being floated forward. Humans are weak, it said. Their bodies break easily. A scaled delegate followed. They are violent. Their history is filled with war. Another voice echoed from the shadows. They are emotionally unstable. Fear and anger rule their choices. More voices joined in. A danger to galactic peace. Too unpredictable. A future threat. As they spoke, holograms filled the air. Human wars, cities burning, missiles launching, mushroom clouds rising into the sky. Images of pollution covered the oceans, forests fell, smoke covered the land. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Not joyful laughter, mocking laughter. The humans were being judged by their worst moments. Finally, the High Arbiter raised a limb. Call the human representative. A single platform moved forward. The human stepped into the light. He was small compared to the others, soft skin, no claws, no scales, no natural armor. He wore a simple uniform with no medals, no weapons, and no rank symbols of power. He was not a general, not a warrior, not a politician trained to lie. He was a medical officer. In his hand, he carried a thin data tablet. Some delegates leaned closer. Others laughed again. "This is who they send," someone whispered. "A healer," another mocked. The council expected many things. They expected begging. They expected shouting. They expected fear. But the human stood straight. His face was calm. His hands were steady. He looked around the chamber, meeting eyes that were not meant to be met. Then he spoke. "Before you vote," the human said evenly, "may I submit a medical report?" Silence spread through the chamber. No one expected that. Some delegates made sounds of amusement. A report? A human trick? Others grew curious. The High Arbiter studied the human for a long moment. "A medical report will not change your nature," it said. "Perhaps not, but it may explain it." The chamber remained quiet. After a pause that felt longer than it was, the Arbiter spoke again. "You have 5 minutes." The human nodded once. He tapped the data tablet. A new hologram appeared. not weapons, not soldiers, not ships. Human bodies, bones, organs, scars. The laughter stopped, and in that ancient chamber where countless species had fallen silent before judgment, something strange began to happen. The Deathworld Council started to listen, and everything was about to change.
The hologram floating in the center of the chamber changed. The images of war and fire disappeared. In their place appeared something far more unsettling: human bodies. Not soldiers holding weapons, not fleets or machines. Bodies broken, repaired, and still standing. The human medical officer spoke calmly, as if reading routine data. "These are human skeletal records," he said. The hologram zoomed in on bones, bones that had snapped clean in half, bones that had shattered into many pieces. Then the image shifted. Those same bones were whole again, thicker, denser, stronger than before. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some delegates adjusted their translation fields, thinking they had misunderstood. The human continued. "Human bones respond to stress by rebuilding themselves," he explained. "Damage signals growth." The hologram changed again. Internal organs appeared. Livers scarred by toxins, lungs blackened by smoke, hearts marked by past failure. Then the next image appeared. The same organs, healed, functioning, still alive. These humans survived poisoning, not once, many times. A scaled delegate interrupted. "That level of damage should be fatal." The human nodded. "For many species, yes." Another image replaced the last. Human blood cells attacked foreign organisms, bacteria, viruses, unknown toxins. The alien medical experts leaned closer. "These pathogens are lethal to most council species," the human said. "To us, they are training." The word training caused a ripple of unease. The human raised his hand slightly, changing the display. A new chart appeared. It showed planetary data. Earth's gravity, high. Atmospheric pressure, unstable. Microbial density, extreme. "Humans evolved on a planet where survival is constant work," he said. "Pain is not an emergency, it is a signal." The hologram split into two columns. On one side, council species. On the other, humans. When council species suffered injuries, their survival lines dropped sharply. When humans suffered injuries, the lines dipped, then climbed, higher than before. "Where many species must stop and rest," the human said, "we continue." The chart shifted again. Extreme heat, extreme cold, blood loss, oxygen deprivation. In every case, human survival extended beyond expectations. "Where others collapse," the human said, "we adapt." The chamber was no longer mocking. Some delegates folded limbs in discomfort. Others leaned forward, silent. Then the human paused. "This next section," he said, "caused debate among your medical analysts." The hologram changed. Smaller bodies appeared. Human children. Records scrolled beside them. Broken spines, crushed limbs, severe infections. Then the survival markers appeared. Green, alive, recovering. "Human children," the officer said quietly, "survive injuries that would kill trained alien soldiers." The chamber reacted instantly. Gasps, clicks of alarm, sudden whispers. A council elder spoke sharply. "These are exceptions." The human shook his head. "These are averages." Silence followed. He let the data remain visible. No threats, no raised voice, only facts. "This is not our military report," he said at last. "You requested proof that we are dangerous." He looked around the chamber. "This," he continued, "is our survival record." The hologram remained suspended. bones that grew stronger when broken, bodies that learned from pain, children who endured what warriors could not. The Deathworld Council did not laugh anymore. For the first time, they were not judging humans, they were studying them, and some had begun to feel afraid.
The hologram shifted again. The images became darker, colder. What appeared now was not recovery, it was survival under collapse. The human medical officer did not change his tone. His voice stayed calm, steady, almost gentle. "These cases show human performance beyond safe limits," he said. The first image appeared. A human with crushed ribs. Medical scans showed broken bone ends piercing muscle. One lung had collapsed. Blood filled the chest cavity. The survival indicator was red. Yet the timeline continued. The human kept moving. He ran, he fought, he carried others. For minutes, then hours. Low sounds of alarm spread across the chamber. "This subject should be unconscious," a council medic whispered. The human changed the image. Severe blood loss. A body missing more than half its blood volume. Heart rate unstable. Vision failing. Still the human remained active. Still conscious. Still functioning. "This state would be fatal for most council species within moments," the human said. "For us, it becomes a test." The word test echoed softly. The hologram changed again. Organ failure. Kidneys shutting down, liver poisoned, oxygen levels falling. Medical warnings flashed, yet the human's nervous system stayed active. Muscles responded. Thought continued. The body refused to stop. The council chamber was silent. No laughter, no whispers, only the quiet hum of data. "This is not rage," the human explained. "It is not madness." He paused. "It is endurance." The next images showed human pain responses. Nerves firing, stress hormones flooding the body, muscles tearing while still contracting. Charts compared human pain tolerance to other species. Where most species shut down, humans remained alert. "Pain does not stop us," the human said. "It teaches us." Some delegates recoiled. Pain to them was a shutdown command. To humans, it was information. The human continued. "On Earth, pain is constant. Cold, heat, injury, disease, loss." The hologram displayed Earth's environments. Frozen tundras, burning deserts, oceans crushing bodies with pressure. This planet did not make us cruel, it made us persistent. Another chart appeared. Humans exposed to repeated trauma showed increased tolerance, faster reactions, more control. Their nervous systems adapted instead of breaking. "Each survival event changes us," the officer said. "We do not forget pain, we learn from it." The human looked around the chamber. Some delegates stared at the hologram, unmoving. Others had pulled back, their body language defensive. "This is the final section," the human said. The hologram faded. Only text remained. A single statement. "Adaptation response confirmed." The human spoke again. "If you declare us dangerous," he said calmly, "you will force us to adapt again." The words were simple. There was no threat in his voice, no anger, but the meaning struck harder than any weapon. The chamber remained silent. The word adapt echoed through translator fields. Adapt, not attack, not destroy, survive. For the first time, fear appeared on alien faces. Not fear of human weapons, fear of what humans become when survival is no longer a choice. And the Deathworld Council began to understand the truth. Earth did not create monsters, it created survivors. The silence did not last long. A group of council scientists rose from their seats. They were not warriors. They were not rulers. They were observers of truth. "Permission to verify the data," one of them said. The High Arbiter hesitated, then nodded. The chamber filled with new light as the Council systems connected to the human report. Data streams moved fast, far faster than human eyes could follow. Numbers were checked, charts were tested, case files were opened and cross-referenced. Minutes passed. No one spoke. Then a Council scientist broke the silence. "The data is accurate," it said. Another followed. "All medical records are consistent." A third voice joined. "No signs of manipulation." The words fell like weight onto the chamber floor. Every number was real, every injury documented, every survival recorded. No exaggeration, no propaganda. The Deathworld Council had expected lies. They found facts. The High Arbiter's posture shifted. "This level of endurance is unusual," it said carefully. A military delegate spoke next. "To control such a species would require constant suppression." Another replied, voice tense. "Suppression would fail." The chamber stirred again, not with laughter, with concern. A strategist projected future models into the air. Simulations showed invasion forces landing on Earth. At first, humans fell. Then the models changed. Humans adapted. Weapons were learned. Tactics copied. Weaknesses studied. Losses increased. Then something worse appeared. The humans survived long enough to learn how to win. The simulation froze. The chamber grew cold. "We could destroy them quickly," one delegate argued. A scientist answered quietly, "or fail slowly." That thought lingered. The Deathworld Council had crushed species before. They relied on fear, shock, and speed. Humans did not break from those things. They absorbed them. Another delegate withdrew its support for invasion. Then another. Signals changed across the chamber. Red threat markers faded to yellow, then to caution symbols. "Control is unfeasible," one voice said. "Isolation would only delay conflict," said another. The High Arbiter remained silent. This council was known for cruelty, for swift judgment, for never hesitating. Yet now, hesitation filled the chamber. The human medical officer stood still. He did not speak. He did not press his advantage. He simply waited. The vote interface appeared. Usually, decisions took seconds. Today, no one moved. Seconds became minutes. The silence grew heavy. Some delegates avoided looking at the human. Others watched him carefully, as if seeing him for the first time. The High Arbiter finally spoke. "The vote is delayed." The words shocked the chamber. A delay had never happened, not once. The system confirmed it. Decision postponed. The chamber lights dimmed slightly. The council had not reached agreement. They had not chosen war. They had not chosen control. They had chosen uncertainty. For the first time in its long history, the Deathworld Council was unsure, and that uncertainty was born from one simple truth. Humans were not unstoppable. They were unstoppable over time. The chamber remained silent, because everyone present understood something new. The council had not broken the humans. The humans had broken the council's certainty. The human medical officer lowered the data tablet. The holograms faded one by one. Bones disappeared. Charts vanished. Medical warnings went dark. The chamber felt empty without them. He stood alone at the center platform. No guards, no weapons, no symbols of power. Only a human.
He looked around the Deathworld Council chamber one last time. Then he spoke. "We do not want war," the human said calmly, "but our bodies were built to survive it." He did not raise his voice. He did not threaten. He did not beg for mercy. The words were simple, and they were final. The chamber remained silent. The High Arbiter turned slowly, its many eyes focused on the human. "The Council will now decide," it announced. Symbols appeared above each delegate. Votes began to register: green, yellow, red. For several long seconds, nothing changed. Then the colors shifted. Red faded away, yellow followed, green filled the chamber. The final decision appeared in clear, cold text. Earth status, sovereign. A ripple of reaction moved through the council. The High Arbiter spoke again. "Humanity will not be controlled." Another symbol appeared. Endurance class Deathworlder. Some delegates reacted sharply. Others sat very still. This classification was rare. It was reserved for species that could not be broken easily. Then the final ruling appeared. Direct conflict forbidden. The chamber felt different now. Not hostile, cautious. The human medical officer nodded once. No smile, no celebration. He turned and stepped away from the platform. As he walked toward the exit, no one laughed. No one mocked him. Hundreds of alien eyes followed his movement, not with hatred, with calculation, and something close to respect. The chamber doors opened. Light spilled in. The human paused briefly at the threshold, not to speak, but to breathe. Then he left. The doors closed behind him. The Deathworld Council remained silent. The High Arbiter spoke quietly, almost to itself. "Humans are not dangerous because they are violent." The words echoed. A council scientist finished the thought. "They are dangerous because they endure." Data screens updated across the chamber. New warnings appeared. New guidelines formed. Human physiology was now required study material for Council forces. Human adaptation models were marked high priority. The galaxy would remember this meeting, not because of war, not because of threats, but because a single human had stood before the most powerful council in existence, and won without raising a weapon. Far away, Earth continued to turn. Storms came and went. Wars ended. People healed. Humans lived on, unaware of how close they had come to extinction, and unaware that the galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget, that on a harsh world filled with pain and struggle, endurance was the most powerful weapon of all.